recording as long as you are talking. I don't mind. I just want you to beware. We'll also have Q&A afterwards. So as you stand, just stand a little bit and sort of find your feet. I sent out an email earlier, just about an hour ago. If you didn't get it, let me know, and I will make sure that, for whatever reason, get your name back on. As you stand, do you have more weight on one foot than the other? So just, this is your not paying attention stand. That will communicate to that side of your body to be on a little bit more all the time. So we carry a higher resting tone on the muscles. Also notice, as you stand, is your gaze straight forward, or does your head tend to sort of drift to one side? Or do you hold your head to one side, that maybe because of a hair event? My sister, the physical therapist, would see a lot of people with creaks in their neck because they would cock their head to accommodate a cute hairstyle. No, she's not talking about me. So our hair, clothing, purses, everything in our environment affects how we hold our bodies. Now, I'm going to crouch down so you can see me. Of course, the star player tonight is the red light, is the contraction, is some more tension on the front, causing us to round our shoulders forward, let the head draw further forward. So the pec majors are overstretched, they're contracted, but the upper back is overstretched. And so the work is to get the tension on the front to release both in the belly and also along the whole seam, and then invite a little tone into the back to facilitate it. We're going to work on the shoulder joints, and with that, a lot of what happens in our necks happens in our shoulders. So we get the front and the back seam to align. So now I invite you to come onto your back. And as you come onto your back, I'd probably be wise to say, before you get all super comfortable, have a blanket ready. And I'm going to fold mine up in 3. So I don't want a super big roll. So I'm creating sort of a little bit of a roll. This may be too much for you. So a bath towel or pillow may also be just as well. Canine somatics and feline somatics, I love it. So just have that beside you and come onto your back. So as you come to rest on your back, if it is available, start with the legs straight. But again, if you're having a back day, if the psoas is really tight, keep your knees bent up. There's, again, no benefit to pain. And inquire about how much of your body is resting on the floor. And the numbers that are often given in a Feldenkrais class is somewhere between 20 and 80%. So if you were to leave an imprint of your back body, what's touching the floor and what's not touching? The less touching, the more tension is in our soft tissue. If your chin is pulling away from the chest, then first invite a lengthening of the back of the neck. It may just be habitual for no other reason. But if that just boinks right back, then slide a small pillow or blanket under your head so that the back of the head is not contracted. And your gaze is straight up. And I invite you to remove your eyeglasses. We carry a lot of tension around our eyes. Closing your eyes as you practice, And I will be keeping my eyes on you as best as I can and help guide you as we practice. Now, bending up your knees and place your hands on your lower abdomen. Inviting the breath in and let it flow back out. Make it easy. When the diaphragm is not contracting to its full ability, our lungs are not able to expand fully. And we may be incorporating our secondary muscle of breathing to help draw a deep breath in, the one that I sometimes call the Scarlett O'Hara breath, the heaving. And we do that if we are running, we need to add that little bit extra, but our primary breathing muscle is the diaphragm and also the intercostals, the muscles between the rib cage. So as the belly expands on the in-breath, feel the abdomen rise and then feel it descend. And then we're going to add a little movement tonight and we get a little bit of more mobility on the diaphragm. So I'll describe it and then invite you to play with it. You're going to draw a breath in, you're going to feel the belly expand, but then you're going to not exhale, except you're going to suck the belly in to force the air up into the chest. So you are letting the diaphragm swoop back up again. You're literally pushing it up and then you pull it back down. You're just going to go back and forth. You're pumping your belly to help the diaphragm unstick from the ribs. And don't overdo it. When you need to exhale and take another breath, do so. And then take a couple of breaths and then repeat. Fill the belly up all the way down to the pubic bone. And then pumping the air up, like pull the belly in and out. So in yoga, it's kind of like the Kapalati breathing, except we don't exhale. We hold the breath and we just move this balloon of air up and down, up and down. And then when you need to, let that go. Breathing again without effort. And notice if that changes the ease of your diaphragmatic in-breath at all. When we are nervous or anxious or angry, we tend to get really tight in our lower abdomen. In addition to clothing, if we are always wearing clothing where the cinched waist, we literally cannot breathe using the diaphragm. Hence the reason for the Scarlett O'Hara, they could not use the diaphragm of breathing when they were wearing those ridiculous corsets. When we are in pain, we tend to really lock the belly. So that's the key. The first place to go when there is intense pain, are you breathing with the diaphragm? Let's do this one more time. Full breath in, move the air balloon up and down and up and down, pumping it back and forth. How easy is this? How hard is this? Can you move it? And if it's challenging, I just play with this over the next coming days or weeks. So the viscera of the abdominal cavity, everything slides and glides and moves with ease. We need that to facilitate healthy posture and mobility of the neck and shoulder complex. Now let's move into the arch and flatten. So as you inhale, you'll arch the low back, muscles contract, and then exhale, floating back to neutral, Take a breath in for nothing. And then as you exhale, now flatten, hollow out the belly. So we have that from that pumping action. And as you inhale, belly fills up. Take a buffer breath. And then repeat. Inhale, arch, feel the muscles contracting. Don't overdo it. A little goes a long way. Feel the contraction, release. Breath in for nothing. And then flatten, hollow the belly out from the pubic bone, drawing an abdomen in and up. So spreading your lower ribs. Uddiyana Bandha in yoga, which literally means upward wings. But then let it go. So a strong body is not one that's holding a contraction. That is a body that's fatigued. A strong muscle can engage and release. Let's do it one more time, following your breath. Your entire focus is on combining the breath with the movement, sensing the contraction. So a message goes out from the brain to the muscle, contract. Another message goes back to the brain, it did. And so it goes. That's how the brain knows where our body is and what it's doing. But when we underuse an area, that part of the motor cortex begins to shrink. Other parts takes over that place, which over time can lead to imbalance. Or if you are, an athlete, a top athlete, it can be very beneficial. You can make a lot of money, but probably also to some type of havoc that will happen with your body eventually, unfortunately. With that said, after the next out breath, slide your leg out long, both legs, and just feel. Notice if anything changed in your relationship to how your body is resting on the floor. And now let's bend up the knees. And I'm going to have you roll over onto one side so we can place our little tool on the mat. And we're going to take just a moment to get that all set up. So placing it about a third way down. And then I will come down over the roll, take my hands behind the head. So I'm creating a little bit more back bend that I will take into, will help me release some of the tension across the pecs. Now, you may want to have a blanket under your head here too, or you may decide that that was too much. So we're going to spend a little time here and wait for everybody to get super comfortable. My armpits are just clearing the blanket, so it is right under my heart center. Right under my heart center. Knees are bent up. Hands under the head. So we'll start with an arch. So inhale and arch. That's going to be really easy here. Now, as you exhale, flatten, draw the ribs down as you pull the elbows towards one another. Flattening and pull the elbows in. So that's the pec majors that we are working with here. Now, I'm going to count to 12 as you lower the elbows back down. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Everything pulls. Buffer breath. And on your next in-breath, let's arch again. Lift the heart, spread your wings, and then exhale. Pull the belly in and up. Pull the elbows in. Squeeze the elbows together. Now curling up, lifting the head and the top of the shoulders. And then as slowly as you can, lower the shoulders and head back down. Keep the elbows in. Lower the head and shoulders back down. Re-lift the elbows here. So lifting them a little bit higher up. And now let's count them down again. From 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Everything pulls. Buffer breath. And let's do that one more time. Inhale, arch. Spread your wings, so elbows are wide here. Elbows are very wide. And then exhale, now flattening. Belly draws down, elbows comes in, curling up. Keep the elbows in as you slowly lengthen back down over the roll. Let that whole front seam lengthening up. Once the head is down, let's re-lift the elbows. And slowly release the elbows down. Counting from 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, almost 1, and down. Buffer breath. I'm going to do one more for the front seam for that flexor. So you'll inhale, you'll arch again. Exhale, flattening, draw the elbows in, curling the head and the top of the shoulders up. And then keep the elbows squeezing in. Now lower down about a third of the way, And then curling back up a little bit and lower down another third. And then curling back up another couple of inches. And now come down almost all the way. Hover about an inch off the floor. Recurl this top part. And lower all the way down. And now I'm going to let you count your elbows down. Maybe 12 was too fast or too slow. Notice where you had those bumps and jitters. That is how we know that there is some miscommunication between the motor nerves and the sensory nerves. Once you're down, let everything cool. And then just lift your head just enough where you can roll off the blanket. Move that blanket out of the way. And then lay flat. Relaxing. Gauge the percentage again. What changed? So the flexors on the front, extensors on the back. So now we're going to switch to the extensor. So with as little effort as possible, please roll over onto your belly. Take your right arm under the chin, your left chin, left arm down alongside your body. And turn and look at your right elbow. And if that is uncomfortable for your neck, do something else. It can be having the forehead on the back of your hand. It can also by putting that blanket roll we had under your chest. Because if there is a forward contraction, the red light contraction, then elevating the shoulders and chest a little bit may just feel a whole lot better. All right, posterior deltoid. On the in-breath, lift your right elbow, just the elbow. Feel the back of your shoulder contracting. Slowly releasing it down. Buffer breath. And then lift again. Lift the elbow, but this time only half the way. Only half the distance. And take as much time to lower it down. Take a buffer breath again. And now lift it about a quarter of the way. About a quarter. And take the same amount of time to lower that down. So this is about control too of our muscles. We want to have a lot of variety available to us in our movement patterns. Now let's let the arm take a little break and the head. So as you inhale, lifting the head and look over your right shoulder. Just the head. And lower it down. So it may not lift up very high, But you feel the muscles on the side of your neck, all the way down the back, contracting. Let's do that again. Inhale, lift. Let your hips float up a little bit. That will get the entire length of the erector spinae on board. And then let that go down. Buffer breath. And one more time. Head. Lowering down. And now we're going to add the head with lifting up the right arm. Now I invite you to ground the hips, not let them float up. And now we're putting some weight on that lever. So as you inhale, head and right arm lifts up. Feel the muscles on the upper back contracting. And then slowly releasing down. Buffer breath. All effort has left. And then repeat. Lift. Head. Lift the arm. Much space under the head and chest. This is available. Muscles contracting and then releasing. Slowly. So the change happens now on the controlled release. The engaging just takes our body to where it's been a lot. So that's habitual. What we are using as the variable, what we are controlling is the release. That's where the change happened. Let's do that one more time on your in-breath when you are ready. Now let's do the left leg. As you inhale, lifting the left leg. And as slowly as you can, releasing it down. Buffer breath. Let's you Etch-a-Sketch. Now, as you lift your left leg again, what muscles are firing? Releasing down as slowly as you can. I'm going to do that one more time. And after the third time, we're ready for the big one. Combining right arm and head and left leg. So don't strain, gentle effort. Notice what happens right before you initiate the lift. What lifts? Feel the muscles contracting. And then feel, sense the muscles relaxing. Take a buffer breath and repeat 2 more times. When you are lifting and when you're releasing, is it a smooth and even event? Or is there jerkiness? Can you make it smooth? And then same for the release. Iron out those kinks and crinkles, because that jerkiness, both on the going and coming, signifies that there's a lack of full communication. We're trying to solicit other muscles to do it. It's better to do less with smooth movement than more with jerkiness. Now, once you have repeated the 3rd time, I invite you to, again, with as little effort as possible, roll over onto your back. I just want you to feel what this did. So we'll take a little interlude, because we don't always connect quite to what happens in our body. So I love these pauses. Feel what parts of your body is touching the floor. Feel the breath in your upper chest, left side, right side, and lower abdomen, left side, right side. And just see if there was a shift or something that changed. We are clearly going to have to do the other side. So once you've gathered your data, I invite you to come onto your back again. Now you'll have your right arm down alongside the body and the left arm up under your right cheek. So we are ready to go on the other side. When you're ready, just your right elbow. Lifts and lower. And notice if you are doing any compensatory movement patterns, like rolling over onto one side to get a little bit more air under the elbow, it's going to lift as high as it's going to lift, whether or not you roll or not. But that's what our bodies do. We try to well, I can help you out here. But to keep these initial movements as quote unquote clean, we'll focus on those muscles. So you'll take your buffer breath and you'll repeat. So we'll do it a total of 3 times. On that buffer breath, that's an opportunity to release that muscle a little bit more. When you exhale, can you let go of it a little bit more? Gain conscious control over your muscles. Not just engaging them, but releasing them. After the 3rd time, it was the head. Lifting the head, looking over the shoulder, sense. So with your eyes closed, it's easy to sense the muscles contracting. When the eyes are open, we gather different information about what we see, how high we go, but not really sensory oriented in terms of muscle. And because our eyes occupy such a big part of our brain, 40%, for the visual nerve, it gets a little confusing for the brain. So just take that out of the equation. 3 head lifts with the buffer breath, with that extra intention of relax in between. And then both, head and arm. On the in-breath, head and arm lifts. And lowers down. And again, notice, what does that movement feel like? Is it just slow, even, and steady? Or is there sort of a yankiness to it? Investigate that jerkiness. What is creating that? Why? Make it even. 3 times for head and arm. Hey, Roberta. Are you okay? And then we added the right leg after the 3rd time of the head and arm lift. Again, does the right leg lift the same way like the left did? Like I mentioned in the beginning, when we are tighter on one side, that throws everything off. Can you sense the difference? And then use the quote-unquote easy side to tutor the side that may not quite show up. Can you help it show up? And then after you complete with the arm, head, and legs, we'll do 3 of those too. Again, do the buffer breath in between. Smooth and easy. This is like dipping candles, which you may or may not have tried, but it's you gotta dip them down smooth and easy and lift them up again, at least if you're looking for even candles. We'll do 3 times. And then after the 3rd time, pause. And then roll on over onto your right side. And bend your knees up so you're laying on your right side in a very easy way. And you can support your head with a blanket, with a pillow, with your arm. in just whatever way is comfortable for you to support your head. So for the shoulder movements, the shoulder blade is a false joint, which I think is a funny term because it doesn't actually sit with any of the joints per se. But the shoulder blade has to be able to slide and glide or our shoulders gets in all kinds of trouble. So the big one is pull your left shoulder up to the ear and slide it down. So you can rest your left hand on the floor in front. You can have it down on the hip. You want it in a way that it has complete freedom to move. So sliding, so if you want it on the front, to stand the hand up or stand the elbow up with the palm resting on the floor, that may feel good, but you can play around with that. But we'll slide it up again. Scrunch the left shoulder all the way up to the ear, so the upper trapezius, the headache muscle, the worry muscle, and let it slowly release down as slowly as you can. So that one more time. Contract, feel that. Now controlled release, don't dump it. Let it relax. Now slide the shoulder down. Sliding it down. That's the middle and lower part of the trapezius, often underworked. And release back to neutral. Take a buffer breath. And repeat. Draw the shoulder down. And release. I think that's worth doing one more time. And now, after the third one, you're going to scrunch your shoulder forward. So this is what we did when we did the arch and curl. Got the pec majors to contract, and then slowly release it back. Let's talk to the one that needs a little help. Pull the shoulder blade to the center. So you're moving the shoulder back, and your left shoulder blade moves towards the spine. And then release this back to neutral. First, again, we'll move the shoulder forward, pec majors. Relaxing this. And then slide the shoulder back for the rhomboids. And slowly release. When we get that thing between the shoulder blades, that's often the rhomboids have gotten kind of irritated. Let's do it one more time. Shoulders forward. And back. And we're ready for the circles. Draw your right shoulder up to the ear. And then draw the biggest circle you can with the shoulder, as if you had a crayon on the end of it, and you're drawing this big round circle. Slowly. And you come up to the top, you drop it down a little bit, and you now draw a medium-sized circle. Once you get at the top, drop it down again, and a teeny little circle. As round as you can get it. So you are now incorporating all of these muscles, but in the way we actually use our arms. So now we get to study the jerkiness, the jittery or the jumpiness, where our motor cortex has shrunk a bit for that muscle or those muscles. Once you've created a teeny little circle, reverse that teeny circle and make it a teeny little opposite, which you will then do the medium size, so you'll bump it up. Slow, meticulous, medium-sized circle. And then last, opposite direction where we started. So how slow can you make this? That is the key. Deep, big circle, opposite. Can you feel these 4 muscle groups having to coordinate with one another for smooth and even movement? And then from here, once you've completed that, you're just going to find your way onto your back again. And pause. Notice the breath. Notice the shoulders, the side of your neck, the different sides of your neck, I should say, is a better way of saying it. Sometimes it just feels warmer or bigger or flatter. There are many ways and many words that can describe the sensations. You may also feel absolutely no difference. We are going to repeat it on the other side. I would feel really amiss. Wouldn't be able to get a wink of sleep tonight, knowing we skipped a side. So rolling over onto your left side. Support your head, bend up your knees, be comfortable. This work cannot be hurried. And now the right shoulder draws up to the ear. How does that feel? What does that feel like? And as you release it consciously, what does that feel like? Speed gets trapped in our body, so do it again, slide it up. And our heads can get really divorced from the senses, our sensory system. So we're just these floating heads. So this is re-establishing that connection. We have access to it all. We'll do it one more time. Sliding the shoulder up. So the reason that buffer breath in between is so helpful is otherwise we just begin to bam, 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 and it again becomes an automated response, and the resting tone on that muscle begins to bump right back up. Let's do it, drawing the shoulder down. Feel what has to happen now. Draw the shoulder back up. Buffer breath. And repeat. And after the third time, we begin in the opposite direction. Shrug the shoulder forward. And then relax that back. But then we engage the rumblers. Pull the shoulder blade towards the spine. And then we relax that. Draw the shoulder forward again. And then back. Did it 3 times total on the other side, so must keep it the same, but not rushing, not rushing. And then we circle. Starting by shrugging the shoulder up to the ear. How slow can you make this circle? How even, it's like a little second hand just ticking slowly around the circle. Medium-sized circle. Again, move slowly enough where you can sense these 4 muscle groups having to coordinate. When is what engaged? What does it feel like as it releases and engages another muscle group? Itty bitty circle. And then we reverse the entire trajectory. Jennifer, can you slow it down a little bit? You're going very fast. It's like, yeah, knock this one off. It's hard because we have a certain speed or tempo set in our bodies that we just move at. And it takes a tremendous amount of concentration. That is one of the things that they talk about a lot in training. Slow her down, slow her down, slow her down. And once you complete these 6 circles, slowly find your way onto your back. And pause again. Notice what has changed. And Robin, may you be able to take one of the blankets out now? You may or may not, but sometimes as we practice, things begin to release. So just flip half of it back so that there's a half of a blanket rather than a full. How does that feel? So we started with the evaluation of the 20/80, and just notice, are the numbers changed a little bit? So we're going to finish with the washcloth. We're bending up the knees. Take the feet a little bit wider than the hips. You'll take the arms out to the sides, palms facing up. And then rolling the palms up towards your head. So the shoulder blades are actually sliding down. And then switch, roll the palms in the opposite direction that lifts the shoulders. Going back and forth. So that's going great. Now, alternate Rolling one arm up, one arm down. And then turn your head and look at the arm that's rolling up towards the face. Turn the head and look at the arm that's rolling up. And we are ready to add the knees. Knees go opposite of nose. So now we got it going on. The arm that rolls up is the one we are looking at. The other one rolls down. So we got the shoulder blades moving in opposite directions. Knees go to one side, nose go to the other. This is a complicated move. There's a lot of stuff going on. So letting the knees drop down as far as they go comfortably without strain, just gentle effort. Gentle effort, no strain. And the next time you come up to center, to slide the legs out long. So, and I apologize, I'm running over time a little bit. I'm going to add just one more thing to bring balance after rotation, which is just a full body stretch. So take your arms up as high as they can go comfortably. And Roberta, I will send you the recording too. And now so take the arms just so wide, so not separated, not interlaced. And as you inhale, reach out through the right heel and the right arm. And then relax to center. And then go in go do the other side. So it's kind of like you're walking on your back. So the arms are just resting on the floor. They're not floating. So keep them separate where they can rest completely. And you can place them on your blanket roll or pillow. So you're not creating tension in the back of the shoulder by having them levitating. So you're simply reaching out through one side, the other side. So this helps incorporate the whole rib cage, the whole length of the body. Elongate by contracting the opposite side. So you're reaching out through one side, but can you feel the other side? You get that little squeezer? That actually helps you reach further on the other side. So instead of thinking it as extension, think of it as contracting one side to facilitate more reach on the other. And now let's reach out through both legs and both arms. Draw the arms down and just pause here. Pause. Let all effort vanish. Notice the sensations of your body resting on the floor. So these practices are good to do at night because we have the least amount of opportunity to sort of movement pollute before we go to bed. So I invite you to bend up your knees and roll over onto one side. Pause for a breath or two. We've been down for an hour almost, so it's good to just take it easy. And I invite you, when you're ready, to come up into a comfortable seated posture. And I will stop the recording and we will finish together.